This is the 2025 Audi Q6 e-tron, and it's the first in Audi's history to wear the Q6 badge. It's also the first Audi to be built on the PPE platform. We drove the PPC platform in the S5 the other week.
We did.
So
Well, PPE...
my recollection's all there. So what I want to do is find out, is this worthy of the new moniker, and how does it stack up to the competition, including Audi's own lineup like the Q5?
Self-competition. You know, by going up one number, maybe it's one better.
Well, that's maybe why everyone likes the Peugeot 5008, because it's a big number, you know, it means good car. Audi will claim this thing will do 0 to 100 in 5.9 seconds. Let's put it to the test. Ready? Oh. Okay, that feels quick. Oh. And
5.21.
5.2?
5.21.
Wow. Okay, so not only is it faster than Audi claims, but that's with a passenger in the car too, right? So without you in there, probably 4.9-ish?
Oh, wow. Does it make it that? I'm not that heavy, man.
I mean, no, you've been having a few too many scones. It felt fast. It wasn't like hang on to your hats quick. Like it was fast.
My hat was definitely still firmly attached.
Especially that hat, man. I mean, you want to keep that thing on. So we're in the Quattro model, which sits between the entry-level rear-wheel drive model and the range-topping SQ6. So what that means is this puts out almost 400 horsepower, which is pretty impressive. But the star of the show, like any EV, is Chris Hemsworth.
He is a star.
No, it's the torque. And this has 580 Newton meters in the rear motor alone. Now that's the exact same amount of torque as the brand new BMW X3 M50i. And that's not taking into consideration the 300 Newton meters that the front motor can provide here. But what that means in the real world is that whenever you put your foot down, there's just torque for days.
It pushes you back.
It really does.
Yeah. And into these nice like seats there, it's comfy, man. It's lovely.
There's only two times where that sensation doesn't really hit you as much. One is when you're flooring it from a traffic light. I think maybe because of the heft and weight of this thing.
Okay.
The immediate takeoff, unless you're doing launch control, doesn't feel as rapid as elsewhere.
Okay.
And then the other place is when you're already going over the speed limit and then you're flooring it again.
Yeah.
That sensation has somewhat gone a little bit. So, but anywhere between say 20 k's and 100 k's an hour.
Yeah.
It just pulls and pulls and pulls.
Feels rapid, eh?
Yeah, it does.
And it's so funny, like maybe the first 1.5 to 2 seconds of that acceleration to get to the 20 is eaten up there.
Yeah.
Most of that speed gain is in the last like 2.5 seconds.
Yeah. However, as fast as it feels and it puts you back in the seat, it's never a violent feeling. Like it's very dignified and smooth.
It is.
And classy in the way it goes about it.
Especially as we've like contrasted just recently in the S5.
Yeah.
It feels very like luxuriant.
Yeah. And I think they've been very intentional with the way they've calibrated the throttle and the power output, is that, like I said, it never feels unexpected. You need to move up to the SQ6, which will cost you a pretty penny.
Okay.
Like a real sexy penny, you know?
Oh.
Yeah. Dude, draw the blinds. So will the speed go down in history? Probably not, eh? Yeah. But it will leave like 90% of the cars in the rearview mirror from a traffic light, so you could argue that is a form of history.
Totally. It is. Well, it is in the past.
Okay, so it's pretty quick, but is it pretty? Well, I've had a few curious looks driving around the streets of Auckland.
Curious looks?
Probably because I was going out the window like... But no, I think it's drawing some attention. And straight away, I can tell you a couple of things. One, I think Audi has got the approach right when they designed this thing to look like a normal car rather than a spaceship or a science project.
It doesn't look like a spaceship or a science project. Well done.
So tick, tick.
Yes.
Also, I can straight away say that it looks better than its immediate rivals, the BMW iX and the Mercedes EQE.
Okay.
Which are spaceship-like.
Okay.
So that, therefore, it's kind of the best-looking mid-size luxury SUV in the market right now.
Yep.
I have no trouble saying that right away.
Okay.
However, we are seeing a few new elements here. One being, because it's built on this new platform, the proportions are a little different.
Okay.
And so it's got quite a long wheelbase, but very short overhangs, which gives it kind of like an athletic, poised to strike kind of stance. the more I look at this, the more I like it, which
Cool.
I think is a good sign. I think maybe the market might feel the same way. A couple of details to call out on the side profile. One is this, what Audi call the blister, which is something you'd normally treat. In this case, we want it to stay. I like it. It adds a lot of width, especially from looking at it in the rear. It looks really wide on the road, adds that kind of stance and presence.
Adds to the profile, huh?
Yeah, definitely, man.
Cool.
And then also the wheels. I mean, the wheels are immaculate. Audi always does amazing wheels. These are the 21-inch spec. I think the smaller wheels probably don't look as good.
Yeah.
But as spec'd in this color and these wheels, I think it looks stunning.
What do you think of this side profile, differently colored panel down the bottom with
I like it. You know what? It reminds me of the Q7 that has a similar treatment, which has been around for years. And so I think, again, that design motif coming through into the electric vehicle makes it feel a little more close to home, less, you know, outrageous. Yeah. So I think it's actually a smart touch.
Yeah, I think it looks really, really grounding, and it alters the feel of the height and width of the car.
Yeah.
I also kind of like it. I don't think I've mentioned it before, how it also links up to the trim and this piano black sort of finish on the mirror caps here.
Yeah, it's all coordinated. At the back, we're seeing Audi's full width OLED light bar treatment, which we've seen in a few other examples by now, and it looks good. Looks really good, especially when the lights are on. When they're off, they make less of an impact. But I'm a stickler for that kind of thing. I don't think the average Joe would care about that.
What about the Pro Joe, the non-average Joe?
Yeah, well, you got to look out for them, mate.
Yeah,
they'll take over one day.
Bloody hell.
It's cool that they can communicate with other cars behind them.
Yeah.
In various circumstances. I think you can get it to say, like, I like biscuits.
Can you say
in light form.
It's time for driving?
Most people gather that. Most people gather that on their own.
I also like if I could comment on it.
Yeah.
Please.
No,
please.
I'll allow one comment, Andy.
They kept the piano black lower bar running all the way around, so it almost, interrupted by the wheel, but wrapping the way around the car. Well, at least the sides in there. I think that was quite a clever,
almost like a continuous design line. Yeah, that's a good point actually, Andy. Hey, are you improving?
No,
I thought not. No, yeah, I'll give you a
just
report
a lucky
later.
one.
Yeah, that was a fluke. He's not a journalist or anything like that. Don't worry. Neither am I, to be fair. Just an idiot. So the front doesn't quite look like other Audis, does it? Or would you not even know? You don't even care.
I don't know.
No,
I think it looks good.
Look, I mean, it's definitely got Audi motifs. What we're seeing that's different are the headlights. They are split. And so, I mean, split headlights have been around for a while. They introduced it in the BMW X7 facelift, and I didn't really like it there. I'm yet to be convinced that it's a futuristic look. However, it has allowed them to design Audi's slimmest lights ever at the top, but only because they've split the functions, and so some of the functions are in the lower part. But the major change we're seeing here on top of the split headlights is this kind of big plastic trim going around the fake grille that like almost swallows the whole thing up. It's quite a strange look, or at least it is to me on an Audi, because I'm used to seeing such subtle kind of designs, and this is making more of a statement.
Does it look like ocean life that's going in to swallow something?
That's absolutely not what I thought, but it could be like when a whale eats its plankton or whatever. Maybe it is a bit like that.
Oh, and like these little bits of plankton, except they're very regularly spaced.
That's what they're going for. The designers are going for plankton.
I really like it, actually. I think that they're tying the entire thing together with two tones. This beautiful blue, what was it called? Ascari blue, and then this piano black that they've got going all the way around. And I like that they've gone a little bit more subtle with the vanadium badging.
I think it is on purpose. I think it's very intentional that Audi are making a statement with this vehicle. A, differentiating it so it looks a bit different to the Q5 and Q7, which it sits between.
Yes.
But also B, this is a premium luxury SUV, and you kind of do want to make a little bit of a statement, I'm sure. You don't want something that blends in with everything else. So maybe that's what they're going for, or at least it appears that way to me. On the whole, a lovely car. What's tricked me, and I've tricked myself, I'm pretty good at doing this every day when I say to myself, you're worthy.
You trick yourself? You go into the mirror and be like...
I'm like, dude, you got
like,
it.
Pretend to throw a ball like for a dog, and you go...
What I do is I imagine that this has like a 3-litre V6 turbo underneath, or a 4-litre turbo from the Q7. And then in my head, and this maybe is an example of my bias, the car looks really amazing, and I'm like, man, I actually want one. And so I think what it is that because I know it's electric, and I'm maybe, as a car enthusiast, less of a fan of electric.
Yes.
It's the looks aren't actually connecting with me as much as they would if it was something that I really wanted to own. If it was, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's good to remember that it is an electric car though, because if you pull up to a petrol station and you go to put the thing
diesel in there,
jamming it in, it's probably not a good
shout. You know what? You're right, Andy. That's smart. That's smart thinking. That's smart thinking. So there's no real surprises in the way it looks, though. It's all very safe Audi, which is good. I mean, it's a design language that everyone likes.
Looks like an Audi with a few features to maybe set it out from other Audis.
A few, the front end in particular. But it's underneath, it's the underlying architecture where there are some surprises. So let's go and find out what those are. So, above average Joe doesn't necessarily care what's lying underneath, but this new PPE platform does really mean 4 things for the consumer. 1, it's more performant and more efficient. What that really means, if you look between the lines, is it'll get 50 to 80 k's more range than the outgoing e-tron.
Okay, cool, great.
2, it charges faster. In fact, you can get it from 10 to 80% in like 21 minutes.
Wow.
But it depends on the charger you're dealing with, right? 3, it has 2 types of electric motor. The front type of electric motor can be disengaged automatically to help reduce drag and increase efficiency.
Okay.
Again, all stuff happening behind the scenes that you don't necessarily care about, but you care about the outcome, which is efficiency.
Yeah.
And 4, this is the first Audi EV to have a true one-pedal driving mode, where you can release your foot off the accelerator and it'll come to a complete stop.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for a future with like absolutely no pedals at all, and I can just like think my way forward. How about the feeling of the brakes?
So the feeling of the brakes are a point of contention in this. A few other people out there have said that they think it's a bit grabby and a bit inconsistent. I found it to be calibrated really well. I've had no issues in the D driving mode or the B, one pedal driving mode. In terms of handling, so we're in the quattro model, which means we've got grip for days, like at least 3 or 4 days.
We do feel connected to the road.
Well, yes and no. So the thing is, they've designed this new front suspension, and they've have this rigidly mounted steering rack, or they supposedly claim that it gives you more steering feel.
Okay.
I haven't necessarily felt the connection to the road through the steering. I will say it is very precise. It does exactly what you ask of it.
Yeah.
There's almost sort of a direct linear relationship to the degree to which you turn the wheel and the degree to which the wheels turn, if that makes any sense.
Yes. Yep.
But it's very, very numb and vague feeling on the hand.
Okay.
It is exceptionally comfortable.
Yep.
It is extremely quiet, although we are on some of New Zealand's kind of roads right now that are not the best maintained, and you can hear some of that cabin noise coming through. But I mean, this is about as bad as it gets.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like, I have no experience with a Rolls Royce, but this is kind of what I imagine a Rolls Royce would feel like, and to a degree. It's so supple and smooth and comfortable.
Yeah.
I think it might be one of my favorite things about this car.
Yeah.
Granted, this is spec'd with the air suspension.
Yes.
And it has acoustic glass, and it has all the features that help it in that sense. But
yes.
Yeah, I am so impressed by that.
Yeah, well, these are not really too busy roads, but fortunately, our lives are made more busy by the amount of screen that we have here.
Screen. It's like you could summarize this interior by probably saying the word screen, but we won't do that because we're serious. Screen.
Lots of screen.
It's screen-centric, screencity.co.nz. Look, it's tough because what do you do in 2025 as you're designing a new car when all the other cars have these massive screens? If you were to have a brand new vehicle that doesn't have a big screen, you potentially feel like you're being left behind. I don't know. It's a pretty tricky place to get right.
It seems to be a point of contention where they've said the more screens equals value equals better.
It's weird to think that however long ago it was, back in the day, we're like, I killed a mammoth with a spear. And now we're like, oh, the screens, there's too many screens. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's tough. Look, I'll appreciate that Audi has contoured the shape of the screen. It's not just a slab like a tablet.
Yes.
It's obviously nicely curved.
Yeah.
It has these sort of shaped edges and corners which add a little bit of design.
The passenger screen?
Passenger screen is a little gimmicky.
Yes.
However, in this, because we tested that in the S5, right? And we're like, okay, this is a bit gimmicky. But in the EV, it actually makes a lot more sense, because when I was at the charging station the other day, we sat there for 20 minutes and my wife was here, playing away on a little game. casting YouTube to it. And
Nice.
she actually really liked the passenger screen.
Cool.
And I was saying to her, I was like, I think it's a bit gimmicky. She's like, no, I like this. I can finally like control the song and help with the navigation. You're always messing that up.
The co-pilot thing is actually quite handy and unexpected. I think it comes down to the styling and the wraparound that you have on the edge of the screen. And I think you spoke to the screen shape being an important thing. Absolutely, a slab there would have looked really bad. Also, this sort of brushed aluminium styling here is at odds with the remainder of the car in terms of the styling. They link in the piano black, and they've got the statutory minimum veiny plastic everywhere with a bit of stitching.
You must have some veins. This is a lovely space to be, don't get me wrong. But yeah, there are a few areas where I could have maybe seen some improvement. Other highlights though. One, the seats, super comfortable. I love the shape. And then the steering wheel. I mean, we talked about this in the last video too. The steering wheel is actually growing on me a lot.
Yeah, it feels like, I know it's a thinner material, but it feels like you've got a little bit more control of it. The haptic buttons, soft buttons, are kind of interesting, and you get used to those.
You do get used to them, but I have accidentally brushed across something a few times and it's done something I didn't want it to, so there is that.
Okay, yeah. I love everything going on with the steering wheel, and I like that they've got, once again, the piano back that's linking to the exterior styling and a lot of the center console styling.
So in terms of technology, we discussed the screen. One important change is that the underlying operating system of the infotainment system has moved to an Android-based system.
Oh, cool.
Which means, ultimately what it means is that you'll get more frequent and faster over-the-air updates to the software.
Oh, cool.
And you can run a whole bunch of third-party apps that were, not available before in the proprietary software. So that's cool. The voice recognition software is able to do more nuanced things. So I can say, hey, Audi, lower the passenger window halfway.
Okay, I'll open the passenger's window halfway.
So you can, it's pretty cool, right? So you can actually get it to do things instead of digging through all the menus, which is what a lot of people complain about. You could actually just use voice recognition to do all the things you want to do.
Hey, Audi, let's go into outer space.
Outer space Desi in Wellington.
Boo. Finally, one thing I actually really am happy about is the sound system. Bloody slaps, man.
Yeah.
Heaps of bass.
How's it sounding from the headrest?
The headrest speakers are also interesting. So that's a new feature that they have. It can send some audio signals through the headrest that doesn't bother the rest of the people in the car. In terms of boot space, it's about on par with most two-row SUVs. However, thankfully, they actually do have space in the front now. And so that can come in handy. I mean, look, it's not the biggest space, but it does improve your sort of net cargo space. And then in terms of legroom, I don't know what is going on with Audi, but somehow, even in their larger size SUVs, there isn't a ton of legroom, or you'd expect there to be more. And so there's enough, don't get me wrong. You can fit a bunch of adults in the back and they'll be comfortable, but I would have just expected a little bit more. And over the course of the week, we put our child seat in the back rear facing, and we had to move the passenger seat forward a fair amount for that to fit. So in summary, if you already drive an Audi, like a petrol or a diesel Audi, and you want to transition to something electric.
You want to be premium platform electric.
You want to be PP. Then this is the seamless option to go for. It'll feel right at home, assuming your home is comprised entirely of screens. Also, if you are shopping for a mid-size electric SUV, especially a kind of luxury premium one, this has got to be the top contender right now, especially when you think of its competitors, like I said, the BMW iX, Mercedes EQE. Those are now getting dated. I'm sure new versions will be out soon that will be more competitive. But this is the option to go for. The only question mark for me would be the Polestar 3. Which I think would be very competitive.
I really want to see that one with the rear view mirror that's a camera.
Yeah, a bit gimmicky maybe, but it still looks like a solid package. And the other question mark really comes down to price. I mean, this is a pretty expensive vehicle, and so the question is it going to sell? And is it going to go down in history? Well, probably not, but only because I think Audi is doing what Audi does best, which is not doing anything outrageous, but doing everything else really well.
Yeah, and that middle ground appeals to a lot of market, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that like that center of the Venn diagram and like to be able to step, but maybe just a toe in each of the areas, maybe more luxury, maybe a bit more sporty, maybe something else.
I think that's exactly right. So whether or not we'll go down in history is yet to be seen. We're keen to hear what you think. Let us know in the comments, and thanks again for watching.
Happy Easter!
Merry Christmas.